And back to Civil War.
Civil War 2.
So you were saying, the Inhuman who has the ability to predict the future.
Yes. And so they punch each other.
They punch each other. What was the outcome?
The outcome was, after stopping Thanos, because they found out he was coming to Earth,
what was this attempt number 30 or 40?
500, yeah. He showed up and he basically he wrecked She-Hulk and killed Rhodey.
As in
War Machine, yeah, he killed War Machine, who was at the time in a relationship with Captain Marvel. So that's kind of like another thing, because obviously Iron Man's best friend, and that's another like added tension. So Iron Man's trying to stop it and figure out exactly what's going on. At the same time this happens, they use it and they find out there's another flash from this Inhuman guy, and they find out the Hulk's gonna kill some people, like quite a lot of people.
Right.
And so they go to try and find Bruce Banner, who's gone off the map at the time. And
as he somehow manages to do.
As he does a lot, yeah. And he's been experimenting with research, and he hasn't had a Hulk incident for about 3 months. Which is quite a long time in Banner time. Good for him.
Banner time.
Banner time. Stop.
Down.
Banner time. And so they argue about it there on the lawn, and they're like, on his lawn, yeah, and they're like, come outside. We're gonna talk about this. It's okay, you know. We're gonna have a standard conversation. This is the compromise me and Tony got to, says Captain Marvel. Yeah. We're gonna just approach you first. I didn't want to, like, Captain Marvel says it straight up, I didn't want to even talk to you about it, Bruce. I just wanted to take you in. And Bruce is like, but I haven't done anything wrong yet. And Tony's like, exactly. This is my point. People are gonna get arrested for stuff they haven't done yet. They're gonna get, you know, trial before the crime.
So they've remade Minority Report into a comic.
Yeah. And then, because it's getting a bit heated between Tony and Captain Marvel, Banner gets involved,
but not
Bruce.
in that way.
No, yeah. And everyone else is around them, and then there's another flash from the Inhuman, and it shows Hulk killing people right in front of them, like everyone there, and they come back and they're looking at each other, and because the thing is, the Inhuman, when he shows you it, you don't just see it, you experience it.
Right.
So obviously they're like, oh, well, that's awful. Don't want to all die, and they all look. And so they continue getting even more and more angry, and then Hawkeye kills Bruce.
Oh.
Yeah, he shoots him right in the head with an arrow.
I was going to say he can't die, though.
Oh, he's dead. That's the thing.
Oh,
because
like,
long ago, in a Hulk storyline, which they cleverly bring back the scene, they reference it, Banner told Hawkeye, because he knew in the past Hawkeye's dealt with people, he's done that before, he'd be able to do it for him, and he gave him a serum that would prevent him from hulking out, and give him long enough time to die. Because at the time, Bruce was very emo.
He was very emo.
He was very bad. It was a whole thing. He went through like fighting dogs and stuff. it was weird. But the point is, it killed him. So there's a whole trial of Hawkeye in that as well, mixed in. Right. And a lot of people still see the Hulk as a menace. A lot of people thought Bruce Banner was a good guy. And they question Hawkeye, and he's like, so. And Hawkeye's like, I did what I knew was right. I saw it was gonna happen. I saw his eyes gonna turn green. And they're like, how did you see that? With your human eyes. You don't have special powers or anything. You can't you're just a guy who shoots arrows really well. And he's like, I know what I did, and it was right. So but he gets out of it. He gets exonerated for killing the Hulk.
Right.
So of course,
bring him back later.
Well, he is coming back in this next summer's thing, Legacy, where they're bringing back Wolverine as well.
Of course.
They're going to have the Hulkverine, which is a thing. Weapon X have got both of their DNA now. They've put them together, made a ridiculous bad guy.
I was going to say, that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. Basically, it's Wolverine and the Hulk in one, as it sounds. Just a giant Hulk with claws that can heal.
But he could already heal.
Yeah, exactly. More so.
More so, to the fact.
Anyway, so it gets escalated again when they see Captain America gets killed by Miles Morales. Miles? Yeah, you know Spider-Man.
Yeah, I know who he is. I mean, but he kills Captain America?
Yeah, and the thing with that is, it's very interesting, is they both sort of say, no, we don't want this to happen. They talk about it logically, and everyone else around them is just like fighting and stuff. They blow up the Guardian's spaceship, so they're grounded on Earth. A lot of stuff happens,
so
and
they blow up the Moralo.
the Milano, and they get there, and it's the whole thing, and they decide to sort of set teams as it would. You know, you side with each other.
Set teams, it just sounds like they're doing like PE in school and just like, right, I'll pick this guy, you pick that guy, I'll pick this guy.
Well, you know, they're sort of ideological, like the last Civil War was, but this time there's not one side just on the run for no real reason. You could have just talked it out right at the start, as opposed to being idiots. But that doesn't sell comic books.
Reason doesn't sell comic books.
It doesn't. But this time, at least it made sense. There's a real conflict. And at the end of it, they're like, basically, it comes to the day when Cap's supposed to die on Washington Monument, and Miles is there, and they go, and they both like, I don't want to do this. Do you want to do this? No. Should we just like maybe not do this? And he's like, yeah, but can we? Is that allowed? And they're like, I don't know. And
are we allowed to change the future?
And so they both agreed they're not going to do it, and they go to leave. But because it's seen on like TV and everywhere that they're both there, they think a lot of the other people think it's going to happen. So Iron Man rushes in, Captain Marvel thing goes in, and they have a big fight, and Iron Man gets smack down laid on him, so bad. But so he brings out the Hulkbuster, and he ends up in a coma, basically.
Iron Man
ends up in a coma at the end. Everyone else is fine. And Captain Marvel's like, oh, crap. And they're like, yeah, maybe we should not use this anymore. And the Inhuman decides to ascend to become part of the universe. So it solves the problem in a very Deus Ex Machina way.
As you did.
It doesn't actually resolve the issue, but it stops it being a problem anymore.
I'm going to become one with the universe. Bye, guys.
But it's interesting because the background of all this is...
that's just essentially just going, I need to go, my planet needs me.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But the interesting fact about this, like, it's a good story as it is. Like, it's a blockbuster movie with, like, it's basically like Civil War the movie, but with minority plot thrown in, as you said. But in the background around it, that you don't see in the actual thing, is Captain America. The scene that happens is actually in the new Secret Empire one.
Yeah.
Where Miles takes it down because it's Hydra Cap all the way through, and he's manipulating both sides in this fight to create another war to tarnish the view of the public of superheroes.
Right.
And he's the guy who convinced Hawkeye it's a good idea to kill Bruce, and he's the guy who gave Bruce serum to experiment with that could stop being the Hulk. That set up him not having a situation for 3 months.
Yeah.
That leads to even more tension.
So evil Captain America causes everything.
Pretty much, yeah. Just evil Captain America being evil, which is another reason why you shouldn't use him in this game. Yeah. It's just great. Like, if reading his...
Was that you looping it back round?
Yeah.
And that's why we're not using Sword Knight.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you want to look at ridiculous Borg, though, as we loop it back to the game,
go for it. Yeah.
Is that robot there is a barrel robot, and he puts down barrels.
He's just a guy. Wow.
He has 2 guns, and he can put down large barrels.
Who has 2 guns and can put down large barrels?
That guy. But I don't know if he's going to actually use his barrel powers or not.
Barrel powers? Because you set him up too much now. He's not going to... They're boxes, Rob. He can only do barrels.
He's not going to perform.
Yeah. We're on YouTube. It's embarrassing him. Doesn't want to perform.
Right, Samurai Jack.
He's your, like, go-to, isn't it? The tank is just stuck behind a box. I mean, as far as it goes, it's not a bad place to sit from.
As always.
Yeah, but...
Ow.
Nice. Yeah, the tank did him.
He's not using any of his barrel powers. I'm so disappointed.
Maybe if you unlock him, you can show it.
I'll put him in my thing just to show you that you can throw barrels at people. Oh, we just unlocked him.
Look at that. Oh, it's almost like we knew it was coming.
No, we didn't. We got a while ago. So what she does is essentially you can create a wire.
You mean like the sticky stuff?
Yeah, but it comes out of that thing on the back.
Right.
And then you can press a button and you go back along it, essentially.
Oh, right. Okay, cool.
It's not very useful.
So like a grappling hook.
Yeah, it's not very
grappling
useful.
Grappling hook! Wow. Yeah, basically, that was a long segment.
So there you go, you just
a summarised Civil War 2 for you guys. It's a good story. If you want to read it, I recommend it.
Go to your local comic book store.
Yeah, support your local store. If not, just got like Waterstones or whatever. Yeah, or Amazon. Yeah.
Or an online comic book store.
Yeah, go to like Comixology. You can get it online. Just read it on your tablet. Or your.
Would you actually suggest getting digital comics? I think they're more redundant. Like the thing of having comics is that you want the art in real life.
Like it's right. It's a different experience because I've had both. I've had a couple of digital ones, and I've had quite a few comics in real life.
Yeah. In real life. IRL comics.
IRL comics. Like single issues. If you're into like a particular series you want to follow, that's fine because they're cheaper, but it works out more expensive in the long run. But if you want trades, I'd suggest like they look better on your bookshelf. You get like usually a complete like story arc, and it's a lot easier to do in real life. But online it is cheaper, and it's like zoomable, I guess, as opposed to putting it to your eye.
You can zoom in with your own eyes.
And you can like usually a lot of comics nowadays, if you buy them in real life, they do come with a digital copy as well.
That's good.
Yeah, so you're not like, it's not one or the other. It's just.
Well, our digital copy's cheaper if you just buy the digital.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, comics are expensive. We're not going to lie about that.
God, no. Like, especially if you buy them single issues. I mean, a single issue is usually about like, depending on what it is, about £2 or £3. But like minimum.
Well, like the paper.
Yeah, the paper thin ones. They're not very long. Yeah, they come out every week. They're called weeklies. Where if you
they're called weeklies.
And it's funny, isn't it? If you get a trade, which is usually like a collected amount, like 6 to 12 issues usually, of a particular story or storyline, and it's usually much. It's usually about between like 10 to 30 quid. You can get bigger ones that like omnibuses. They can come up about like 40 quid, maybe whatever price it is, depending how many's in it. But if you works out that if you bought each one of those at the time, and a lot of them might be out of print, for example, and the only way to get them is in trade, you would it would work out more expensive buying them every week.
Yep.
Online, it's about half the price of everything of those, so it does work out a lot cheaper. The only problem is, of course, you don't physically own it. Whereas if you bought it in real life, you could have the digital copy as well in a lot of ways. So you're kind of getting two things for your money. It just depends.
So essentially we're going down to the fact that if you've got money and you want comics, get the real ones. Yeah. If you don't and you really do want to read comics,
get them online.
Get digital ones.
And a lot of comics, like the site for Comixology and stuff, for example, a lot of places will give you some. They're very good with it. They give you packs and things. They give you stuff for free. You can read an awful lot of them without having to pay like very much money at all. You can get subscriptions and stuff for like about like £5 for a year, and you can get like pretty much unlimited access to like 3 or 4 runs. So if there's a particular thing you want, you can subscribe and not have to pay like a lot, and you can read it all.
You can read it all.
Well, until you need to subscribe again. It's not a bad idea. It depends on what, like, if it's worth it or not. Because a lot of comics, they don't always, like, from the big companies like DC, Marvel, and Image, a lot of them do come out
like
weekly or 2 weekly. Dark Horse is a bit different. Some of their runs are weeklies, a lot of them aren't. They're monthlies. So I'm not saying Marvel and DC don't do it either, because they do. They have some that are monthlies and even longer, and a lot of things do go on hiatus, guys.
We tried out this new character, it didn't work, so the 5 fans it got, sucks to be you.
Yeah, pretty much. They get cancelled like 6 issues in. It happens. It sucks. And sometimes it can be like because of just terrible reviews, or it can be just because nobody's buying it. And if you support something, it's like anything really. If you like something, give money to it. It's the best way to keep it going. But sometimes it's just because the teams don't work, or they don't like it.
Just a quick segue into the game again. Those are death bogs with cigarette lighters that use them to fire out.
Okay, that's creative and dangerous. I've got to give them credit. They keep coming up with the little details. I like that. This game is great. Why did it get such bad ratings?
No idea.
It's got quite a cult following now, I guess. But
does it?
Apparently, people seem to know of it.
I know that I like I'd literally have brawls on this game every weekend with my friends, and it was just 4-player brawls on a tiny, like, 10-inch screen, standard def.
Oh gosh.
4-player.
Back in the day.
Somehow managing to do that back then, but nowadays my eyes just couldn't adjust to the standard def.
Like, we used to do it with GoldenEye and stuff too, like back in the day. We used to have a 4-player split screen with GoldenEye or like Banjo-Kazooie or something, and you'd be like, how did we manage this?
I'm not bothered about 4-player split screen. It worked fine on today's screens because
it was bigger.
Yeah, they're a lot bigger. But
you could like adjust it to have a screen per monitor, really.
Yeah, but it's like going back to standard def. I just can't. It hurts. My eyes physically cry out in pain. It's just like I can't watch it. It's 144p. I can literally see all of the pixels.
You can see every pixel.
It just.
I can see the pixels.
Feel my vision degrading. It's like, how did we survive on this for years?
It's because it was the 90s, man. Different time.
It's because we didn't know any better, pretty much.
It's like an angel.
Yeah, that is a Valkyrie.
That is awesome. Speaking of Valkyrie, Thor Ragnarok.
Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? It looks good from the trailer. That doesn't always necessarily... Just look at Suicide Squad.
It's done by the guy who did What We Do in the Shadows, which is a sort of parody vampire movie about 4 vampires sharing a flat with a documentary crew following them around.
This needs to include Thor action scenes.
Yeah, apparently there's some really crazy action scenes in it. So yeah, more on that next time.
Alright then, we'll see you next time.